Wow, that's a blast from the past for sure. The good old days, which I very much say with a strong hint of sarcasm, because as much as I liked some mechanics, being able to evaporate the bodies of your enemies, turn them into a potion that you could then throw at the next foe down the line, pretty sweet. But the 12 different types of pizza that you'd have in your inventory, the 20 different fruits that you're carrying around and taking up all your slots, I don't even know. I have a constantly full inventory these days. I don't know how I did it back then. Probably not very well, if I had to guess. Wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Wouldn't put it past me to make that assumption. But, okie dokie, this is where we're going to take a brief little break here. I'm going to run out, grab a refill from my glass, but no worries, we'll just be about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we'll be back into it. And hopefully, continuing on. I mean, Celebrimbor is still alive against all odds. Somehow, the game has seen fit to bestow upon us some good fortune today, so let's try and take that and just go ham, run away with it, shall we? I'll be back right away, don't go anywhere, and I'll see you in just a second. Be right back. Also take this as a nice opportunity to actually... Jeez Louise. We'll get out all that tension. Not too bad. Traps indoors was the skill? Okay, nice. Apparently, I can't remember the most basic effects for the game or do a good job of explaining what my childhood was like, but sure, remembering the skill name that was taken out shortly after I started playing, why not? That should be stored in the critical data banks in my brain. I'm so glad that my brain is a fully functioning piece of hardware. And stashes, yeah, which would then be consumed by jellies unless you're in layer 2. I still form my stashes on layer 2 just for that very reason. I mean, especially, I think I mentioned this on one of our more recent runs here, but following Gozag is one of the few places where I like to have a bit of a hub, even in the current iteration of the game. So I usually end up forming a bit of a stash on layer 2, because that's just where I put up the new shopping mall for all the denizens to enjoy. I'm sure they don't mind me gentrifying the entirety of layer just to put up a shopping mall, right? Paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Back in the when we just held on to royal jelly when you need to clear inventory space, it was like elven lambus bread. Oh my gosh, I forgot about, yeah, royal jelly, the food item. That's really funny. Yeah, one of the few things that you could start to stack up, and it had really good sustenance to it, from what I remember too, especially for what it was. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, what a blast from the past. Oh, there's so many little things. Even throwing daggers, being able to throw daggers, so you just have an inventory absolutely filled with daggers. Well, I guess only part of it, because unfortunately, again, the other half was just absolutely filled to the brim with, I had bread, I had steak, I had peas, bananas, strawberries, all the good stuff. And most importantly, we had pizza, which actually is super relevant because, oh my gosh, my partner is making some pizza out there, and it smelled divine. If I wasn't so committed to getting through with this character and trying to get a win today, then I would almost be tempted to drop the stream right here just to go eat a piece. Oh dear gosh. Is that an evocative aroma, to say the least. I feel like sometimes I get out of control when it comes to food. Both my little sister and I have the tendency to put so much stock in food, and just our sheer love of eating knows no bounds. So sometimes I basically feel like I am the protagonist of Ratatouille, and that's just my life. Huh. You don't miss ossuaries with wall-to-wall spirit traps? Yeah, that's fair enough for sure. Oh, yeah, and the traps, similar to those secret doors, you could just spend ages just trying to, like, take a step, wait. No traps. Take steps, wait. Just slow play it the entire way through, crawling at a glacial pace, really. Oh, man. Someday I'll have to see how many of those are still kicking around. Like, I had a little netbook that I used to play on. I'm curious if it will even start up, first of all, and if it does, what version would be installed on there? That was like a little bit later. That was when I was in high school, so probably like 2 years after I had started playing. Actually, maybe not so much. That might have been right when I started, now that I think about it. I always say 12 years, even though we started playing again here like a year and a half ago. Still say 12 years. It's like my age just never changes. Though with the age one, that's mostly because I'm terrible for knowing what age I am. I have to either do the math or just say the last age I remember being, one or the other. But we just found the orange crystal plate armor. So how about that? Unfortunately, I don't think we can pull it off because of this right here. Encumbrance rating of 23. Wow. Look at that, though. You see, it would increase by 27. Except I don't think that's right, because this would be subsumed into our body. Right? But yes, no, much too heavy for us, unfortunately. You hate to see it. Of course, on what other character would you possibly run into the orange crystal plate? I mean, besides a Felid. Of course, every Felid and Octopode you've ever played will wind up coming across something that they'll never be able to make use of. But if not one of those two, then right below on the agenda are Deep Elves that have not even close to the amount of strength necessary to pull it off. Also, I'd like to not make too much noise here. Notice me? No? Hello? There we go. Let's take you away just a wee bit here, because we don't want to open up the gates of hell, as it were, at least not yet. We need a brief moment before we dive into that hornet's nest. The Morningstar Eos. Oh, I don't know if I've ever actually seen this before, because this is an unrand art. Has Halo effect, electricity brand, resist electricity, +10. Morningstars are actually really solid. We could end up using this if we did ever go back to actually using a weapon like a Neanderthal. I mean, unfortunately, we're just above that. As an intellectual, you see, I will instead throw fire at my enemies, or rather, more generally, cause them to erupt from deep within themselves, because, oh, what fun. And as mentioned earlier, is there any other way to play the game than just pure ignition spam as far as the eye can see? If there is, I don't want any part of it, honestly. Notice me? Please, notice me, senpai. There we go. It's something for sure. Okay, just a regular old electric eel. We should be able to take care of the old-fashioned way. In fact, all these buddies are kind of nothing popcorn monsters at this stage in the game, fortunately. Oh my gosh, stop blinking away, sir. If you could just hold still, I'd like to murder you. If you could be so kind as to let me do so, that would be resplendent, honestly. Just fantastic of you. So kind to let me fulfill my dreams of murdering every one of the Deep Elves that's down here, the race that, or the species rather, that forsook us and betrayed us. The reason why we ran to the surface. Because of course we're building up our entire headcanon as we go here. And that's apparently the direction my brain has decided to take it. And now, do we wish to even bother breaking in? Becomes the question. I mean, we have good fire magic. In fact, ignition's down to 2%. We probably went a bit overboard here. That's only going to... Oh, there's no cap on it, you say? Huh. Whoopsie daisies. Well, that could have gone all the way to 27 without me actually paying any attention whatsoever. Well, let's let that just cap itself off, and then we'll start training some fighting, and I kind of want to train some shields. Oh, is this going to get anywhere by the time we need it? 16 isn't too far off at this stage in the game. I think we can try it out at the very least. Okay, yeah, if we could just take one friend back here. Excuse me, I'm right here. Apparently I have a very forgettable face. It's very rude of this Earth Elementalist to let me know, even just implicitly like that. And let's not do anything too bold, shall we? Or as some people may put it, brain dead is probably the other framing device that we could use for the majority of actions that we take in this game. Either way, let's not do that. Seems like a decent move forward. See, this is actually a finishing to Elf 3 that I haven't run into too much, which is too bad because I feel like I'd have a better understanding of the most optimal way to step through this here. Also, I've collected a bunch of trash over the last little while without noticing it. Whoops. But that's fine, I guess. Yeah, where's the meat and potatoes here? Definitely it seems internal, so we'll maybe clear around the outside first. All the demonologists and whatnot seem to be hanging out in the most inopportune of places. Where? Oh, geez Louise. That's the one thing we didn't want to see here. Let's hopefully kill... Oh my gosh, that's also the other one thing that we didn't want to see here. How about that? Please die. Thank you. Okay, not the end of the world here. Oh, and being able to take out the Annihilator and the two-handed axe at once. Don't mind if I do. Another Annihilator. I did not order this. If you could please take it back to the kitchen with my sincerest apologies. Which I do have to say is a joke because I'm critically, and in a bad way, completely unable to return food. Just yesterday, I think, I was picking up a coffee from a drive-thru. I was getting myself a coffee. I was getting my wife a black tea lemonade. And so I got handed my coffee. Perfect. Put it down. And then the man at the windows was like, oh, and here's your other drink. And I turned to look. And instead of being the kind of, you know, like an iced tea kind of color to it, that nice, like, amber hue, thirst quenching and delicious, it was just pure, like, beige, milky color. And I should have said something. I really should have been like, oh, actually, I think this might have been mixed up, maybe with someone else's drink. Even for that other person's sake, I probably should have mentioned it. But no, instead, I just nodded my head, grabbed it, took it, pulled over, called my wife and said, how much did you want that drink? Do you want me to go back in and order another one, or are we good to just avoid our problems in life? And fortunately it ended up being option 2, so I didn't have to face any of my issues, and instead just brought home this absolutely disgusting milk drink. Honestly, I don't know if it was made for someone else or if it was just accidentally like the waste cup, because it was not great, shall we say. So that's somewhere where I desperately should learn to be a little bit more discerning about, you know, sometimes you should say something. Sometimes it's actively making it worse for everyone involved, including like maybe that poor stranger who really wanted their disgusting trash milk drink. Well, I'm just screwing them over too. So, probably not great. I mean, maybe on the other hand, they were just another person like me. They got their lemonade iced tea or black tea lemonade, and they just nodded nicely, grumbling to themselves, but who likes this gross tea trash, extra sweet BS? I mean, it's fair enough at the end of the day. But back to the game at hand here, we definitely need a potion petition as we start getting a wee bit swarmed. I also maybe should have chosen a different avenue there instead of almost irradiating ourselves to an uncomfortable degree. But here we are. As long as none of those crystal spears actually make contact, I feel like we can be happy in life. I do need more of you elves next to me, though. I guess this would be maybe a time for ignite? Yeah. That makes a bit more sense. Ooh, I was quite contaminated there. Doesn't look like we got any mutations, so that's nice. Let's just ignite the knight again. Fantastic. Demonologist has got to go. Oh gosh, another demonologist. Another demonologist. How about that? Well, in that case, I'm just going to manually chug a magic potion this time around. Maybe save us some trouble. This is not the most efficient use of magic, so I'll probably regret it. And look at that. I already regret it. Shocker. Oh, me oh my. You blinked to an inopportune place, my friend, so we're still fast right now. It'd be nice to maybe get brilliance on us. We have 6 brilliance potions, so I guess I could just manually chug that son of a gun. And in fact, I think I mean to. Let's try it out here. And then definitely ignite, take care of the demonologist, maybe the annihilator as well. Not quite, but one can dream. And again. Perfect. High Priest can immediately go suck it. Perfect. Just run away. And hey, made it out of that one, no problem. Pretty fantastic stuff, if you ask me. Definitely better than could have probably been expected given our circumstances. Also, let's not irradiate empty space. That seems like a waste of a good dose of radiation. I mean, that stuff doesn't grow on trees. It does kind of just get shot out by a lot of elements, but I think the point still stands. Waiting for the half-life and whatnot, just unreasonable. Completely untenable. Okie dokie, we got a decent number of the high-profile elves kind of coming out to meet us, so that's always a nice thing where you don't have to worry about taking care of them in a large group of their peers, and instead can just lure them into a deep dark corner alley and dispatch them the old-fashioned way. Oh, hello friend. Irradiate is your greatest enemy. Perfect, absolutely fantastic and lovely as well. Ring of the Mage. Ooh. Increase the power and success rate of our spells. That could be useful if we start wearing a shield and it tanks all of our abilities. Definitely switch out the wizardry ring for that. But increasing the power of our spells is huge as well, because if we take a peek here real quick, pretty much all of our main go-tos still have a lot of ceiling to go. There's a lot of upwards progression to be made there. So that is very likely to be added into the mix at some point here. Just going to wait a few turns. Please come my way. I'd like not to come into your domain if possible. Or not. That's cool too, I guess. Honestly, I wasn't too set on my ways of being an anxious wreck, so that's cool. Ooh, spellbook, don't mind if I do. And Urinar's Revivification, Necromutation, and Death's Door. Huh. So lots of good emergency things if we potentially want to lean into that and learn them. And Boots of Flying. Is that worth going down 1 AC? I'm gonna miss my white shoes though. Let's see, maybe these will be just as good. That's a bit of an interesting color palette we have going on. I guess we have a kind of gradient. We have like hot toes, warm middle colors, cold top. You can see that I'm fumbling to come up with some explanation as to why we look like complete trash. Did I fool you? Are you convinced? Is this the hottest outfit you ever saw on this side of the dungeon? Because I sure hope so. Otherwise, what's even the point of saving the world from Zot, you know? I would say there really isn't anything other than that to live for. Most important and critical of all things, even in a fantasy world such as this. But do it look good, is the real question. Oh, that miscast almost made me run into a situation without being prepared. Also, it definitely did exactly that. Whoopsie daisies. Ooh, brain. You do great work out there. Not. It's actually, do you know what we were talking about, feeling nostalgic a couple times during the stream? On the more, life side of it. Was anyone around when that was the big go-to burn? It was always, oh yeah, no, I'd love to hang out with you. Not. Good one. Get absolutely wrecked. Spitting hot fire. Were we just dumber back then? Or was that never actually a good burn and it was just like a couple of 12-year-olds that I knew? Guess we'll never know. One of life's great mysteries. Calling things hot and saying not to completely get a zinger off on everyone and anyone around you. Yeah, I was pretty cool as a kid. What can I say? I was always a wordsmith. I had a way with the words, you know? But okie dokie. Done through Elf, some decent finds, especially if we do end up using that Ring of the Archmagi? It's gotta be Magi, right? It's tough because it's like Magus, and then it pluralizes to Magi. English kind of sucks, you know what I mean? What a trash language. But, oh, coaster sticking. But where do we wish to go now? It's fairly likely that we can handle depths to a decent amount, and then we can almost definitely start thinking about heading back up to Swamp to try and grab the rune. It's still not quite there. By Suzanne is still an absolute nightmare as far as I'm concerned, and one that I'd like to potentially put off until the last possible moment. But it's getting there still. Definitely on our way to greatness. So, let us for now just head into depths, I think. Oh, also, actually real quick, I kind of forgot to do one of the more important little tricks here. If you control F period, always troll through here. Make sure you didn't miss an incredible artifact that just lying on the floor, because the elves come out wearing all this crap. If I was stronger and looking for armor, that would be incredible. But they come out wearing this crap, and it's hard to notice sometimes what they drop when you're not paying attention, which is unfortunately a bit of a repeating or consistent character flaw for myself. But we're looking all good at the end of the day here, so we should actually be fine. Perfect. Now we can actually go to depths, guilt-free, ready to go. We should probably drop one of these box of beasts. In general, we still have some trash. This ring of protection, not necessary. I almost like having trash filling up your inventory though, because then it allows you to more easily do that capital A always ignore thing on the other trash that you come across in your journeys, but we should be fine here. To just pay the slightest bit of attention to what's going on in our surroundings, and maybe, just maybe, we'll do it right. And yep, you know what, this is definitely night territory. Starting to get a little bit of a cult following going on. I shouldn't even stand in this hallway now that I think about it. That is strictly unnecessary. And you know what, this Eden has kind of just got to go. One more ignite should do it though. Beauty. Never a doubt in my mind. Ooh, and a lich as well, hey? How about that? What a crew. What a gathering of individuals we've brought together on this fine occasion. It's a shame I'm going to have to murder you all. I say with a lot more confidence than I feel at the moment, seeing as how quickly some things tanked in that last fight. In fact, I'm spending a lot of mana here. Oh, hello Marjorie. So nice to see you. Well, that's a little bit sketchy. Better than by Suzanne, but the main issue is that I don't want her around with this Eden. So let's take these two upstairs. Perfect. Irradiate does the trick. Fantastic. Oh boy, now we're in for a bit of a wild ride. The next time we go down these stairs, we are going to be in the thick of it, to say the least. Well, a few Death Knights. I mean, Marjorie, as long as you're up close to us and you don't have... I was about to say you don't have line of fire, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, the Hell Knights are all immune to fire, which means she will, in fact, shoot right through them without a care or thought in the world. Give it a turn or two. Oh, or we can separate you from your coterie. That works too. Okay, we have no distortion. That's fantastic. Then everyone gets irradiated. If I'm gonna get irradiated, all of y'all are getting irradiated as well. What can we finish this off with? We really don't have many options. It's irradiate or it's fire. Those are the two moods, apparently. No ifs, ands, or buts, nothing in between. I guess we have wands, so we can ice blast you. Perfect. Make you regret ever taking up residence here in the dank dungeon, Marjorie. Sorry, but it had to be done. And I guess it is all part of the expectations in the workplace here. I mean, when you go into the job of becoming a unique in Zot's dungeon, I feel like you've read all the necessary forms, you've signed the contracts, you probably know what's in store for you. Dying at the hands of an adventurer, I mean, that's just your average Tuesday. Especially if you're Boris. Only unfortunately, it doesn't really stick in that regard. Oh boy. This has definitely been a bit of a rough stairwell. This is the one issue with how much noise we make with all of our spells, of course, is it's kind of impossible to not make an impression on all of our new friends every time we come into a new area of the dungeon. But it's not the end of the world, of course. Ideally, we can still get the job done here, and you know what, we definitely have to retreat upstairs. Oh, it's wild how quickly those swings can come into place. Especially since we've gone from not really having to talk about the game too much to just spending every minute desperately hoping that I'm not doing something incredibly stupid that will lead to our unfortunately early demise. Oh, you blinked to us. Oh, I thought you popped around the corner. So I immediately tried to just get moving the old-fashioned way. Whoopsie daisies. How silly of me. Well, at least these buddies are a bit more manageable. In fact, that is quite lovely indeed. No complaints here. I guess I wasn't paying attention in Elf. I again forgot the fact that when I'm in statue form, my willpower is not as good. I wonder what the chance of getting banished by any of those elven sorcerers was. Hopefully not that high of a chance, then I don't feel like a complete fool. Only mostly one. But that sounds about right. I think that's just a bit of a fair assessment of the facts in that case. Not too bad here. And almighty, this is going to be a real pain in the rear. I guess we could just try and blast you. This isn't going to do wonders on the red, very ugly thing, but the rest of you can meet your maker, I guess. Lovely. Ooh. This dragon, on the other hand, will not respect personal boundaries quite as much. Social distancing, not a thing that dragons believe in, apparently. but you should hear their thoughts on vaccinations. Little known fact, dragons notoriously anti-vax. I know. Blew my mind when I learned of it too, but hey. I guess when you're an all-consuming treasure-hoarding monster, you're, what can I say? You just might fall under the category of being a selfish being. That seems fair, though. Okie dokie. Let's see what else we have for us here. Ooh. Definitely get ready for a bit of a rumble when you see the Sphinx show up. Hopefully they don't ask me any questions. It's one of those things I can't tell, or I don't know for sure if it comes from real mythology or if it's just specific, like, fictional stories that I know and love. But is the Sphinx's whole deal that if you don't answer their question correctly, or more often, as is the case, their riddle, they murder you? I feel like that might just be a pact verse thing, or it might be a bit more universal. So if any Sphinx experts are hanging around in chat today, let me know, because I would be very interested to get a bit of context in that regard. Okie dokie, let's definitely heal up after that fiasco. Probably shouldn't let ourselves get completely and utterly surrounded. Ooh, actually, hold on, wait a minute. Do we want anything here? Could go for a very late pivot into unarmed combat. Air magic being a bit more likely, seeing as how we actually have a decent number of spells. We even have Maxwell's capacitive coupling. The only issue there is that I'd probably rather learn some summoning and bring Spellforge Servitor into the mix. To do that, of course, we would need to learn Iron Shot, I think is on our list here, but something for it to actually cast. Iron Shot is a decent contender. So we'd have to get rid of some spells or just go back to actually training some spell casting here, which I'm tempted to actually do some spell casting training. I mean, we can get rid of these two, and that's a nice, easy 6 points. The Sphinx and Oedipus Rex kill travelers who couldn't answer his riddle. Okay, so that's at least, yeah, another piece of the puzzle that confirms that. That's the thing. I know that riddles are like their entire thing, but oh, that's so funny. And Railbird as well looked it up and got Oedipus, or Oedipus rather. I keep saying Oedipus. Oedipus. According to Google, during his great journey, Oedipus came upon the town of Thebes, where he found the great Sphinx there. Sphinx stand in front of Thebes and asked a riddle of everyone who tried to enter the city. If you could enter the riddle, the Sphinx would let you go, but if you could not answer the riddle, then the Sphinx ate you. Okay, so that is, yeah, a thing that was stolen from mythology, and not just the story I read. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sating my curiosity. I appreciate it. I feel like if I could afford to stream all the time every day, I would never need to actually learn anything ever again, and could instead just always rely on other people to be smarter than I am and do all the hard-hitting research. But I greatly appreciate it, especially when we're on stream here. I won't abuse my powers, even though I have the inkling, the urge to. Okie dokie. Well, there we have it. Depths 1 not going too badly, besides the terrifying experiences we found ourselves in a couple times along the road there. Not too shabby. I don't think we need anything else from the scroll shop, I guess. Another scroll fog would normally be something, you know, at least agenda adjacent, but as is, having 10 of them on us is probably more than we'll ever need in life. Wouldn't mind if there was a treasure trove that asked for those in this game. I've gone that a couple times in the past, and oftentimes I just never get enough box scrolls to possibly go through with it. But today is the day. The world is changing. And not too shabby here. Ooh. Hello, my Spriggan friends. Immediately get blasted if you'd be so kind. Similarly, just throw out a quick wee bit of ignition, you know, just a slight amount of spontaneous combustion like you do. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, this could start heading south pretty quickly here. Irradiate taking care of the Iron Troll means not so much, so we're actually sitting pretty, and we'll just keep her going. Never a doubt in my mind, of course. Not scared, not even, or a little bit. And let's just keep her going, shall we? Ooh, it looks like we have some nice treasure vaults awaiting us in the near future, which is always lovely on Gozeg. It's so funny, on so many characters, those become completely, just atrociously useless by this stage, because you're just absolutely swimming in the cash, unless you happen to have found one of those exceptionally pricey Gozeg shops. But as a devout follower of the one and only true coin in the sky, we don't have to observe any of that. Instead, greed is good, and I want every last penny we can possibly rub together. And it was good. And it will be fantastic. Oh, something invisible in there. I think some questions are better left unanswered, so let's not even bother to put on our See Invisible equipment, and instead just be happy that we don't have to face whatever it may be. No matter what comes through that door, you will stand your ground. Okie dokie. Not too bad here in depths. I guess once we clear through here, we'll probably can decide if we want to head to get our swamp rune first, try and fight by Suzanne, or just go straight to third rune. Third rune, I should say. as how it would definitely not be as such if that is the plan we go forward with, because I feel like we could handle slime. We're a little bit reliant on fire damage, which does run into some issues, again with rock slimes, as we kind of mentioned a bit earlier in the evening today. But it's not the end of the world. It might be semi-manageable at the very least. Definitely blast all you kids. Okay, we still have cold resistance on. That is good. Definitely take this son of a gun upstairs, make our lives a wee bit easier here, make sure that we're playing it safe where possible. Would be nice to survive till the end of this if we can. Let's take a look at our skills. Shields is slowly but surely creeping up there. So we might be able to take on that reflection kite shield at some point in the future. Biting should also get some kind of cap thrown on it, just so we have some idea of where we're sitting and I don't train it all the way to 27, spending far more experience than I feel comfortable with. And we'll also, I think, put on evocations, since we no longer need the spell skills quite as desperately, at least, even though it would still be nice to increase some spell power here or there. Let's just make sure all the tools are coming up roses, shall we? And this is the vault. Ah, how about that? Okay, definitely don't want to take 4 iron shots in one turn, so let's bring you two downstairs. Hopefully Irradiate does the trick nice and quick-like here. Well, it's something. This Vampire Mage is kind of a pain depending on what they summon, I guess. So it's not the end of the world. I might play it safe here, drink 1 heal wounds, just to be sure. I don't think you have any cold magic, but I'm worried that you do, since that would be very undead of you to have something like that. Well, I guess we can drop a fireball for now, wait for some contamination to alleviate, and then double down real quick. Do a similar thing once more, or just kill you. That works for me too, honestly. Honestly, that works better for me, so I appreciate it. My vampire mage friend. And is it worth it for me to even attempt to go back to that vault? Oh, I do want the money. And Gozeg do always be telling me that greed is good. We have 2 haste on us. We could afford to potentially potion petition. We get haste and brilliance, and we should be good to pop up and just start blasting, really. Let's do it. We will play it safe. Oh, these are all terrible. Don't need heal wounds or magic right now. One more. Don't let me down. Haste, heal wounds, and curing. Do you know what? Haste is all I really wanted at the end of the day, so I'll take it. Okay, we potentially start taking damage real quick here, so let's hopefully kill everything before that becomes an issue. At least here, none of these undead statues can follow us through the stairwell, but 32 damage plus 16. It's all a bit much, you know? I don't know if I can risk coming up, though, and taking all this damage in one turn, so this might be a time to commit. Hopefully we don't regret saying these things. I mean, we still have enough contamination, or low enough contamination, I should say, to blast once more. And absolutely beautiful. There we have it. Give me all the sweet treasures. Vial of Floods. Ooh, yes, please. No, do not ignore this. Wand of Polymorph can probably go for now. There's probably something else that's even less useful that's just been sitting around in our inventory this entire time, but that's fine. We'll get it all sorted by the end here. It's not like I've ever forgotten to go through with that type of thing before and been horribly embarrassed when I am in desperate need of something. Definitely not. But fantastic. These buddies we can just irradiate. Even the very ugly thing I think can get the same treatment. And you, my friend. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Let's... Do I want to end transformation? Actually, are you slow? It is slow. Huh, how about that? I've actually never noticed that iron trolls are slow speed in terms of movement. Huh, how about that? I feel like there's almost definitely been a time in my past that I've just stood and fought one thinking that that was my only option in life instead of just running away, which apparently totally viable, totally a thing. How about that? I don't know if I'm just stupid or if there are too many features in the game, and that's why I constantly forget every once in a while the little things here or there. Maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, if we're being generous in the interpretation. How about that? Who knew? At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter. I pay more attention to the sound they make as they get absolutely annihilated by yours truly here. A functional understanding, if you will. Tengu Warrior. Okay, so that's not a Reaver. That's good. Probably throw out a quick ignition here or there. Brings us pretty low in terms of our magic points, but that shouldn't be the end of the world, especially if everyone gets distracted by the very, very shiny treasures. Which is completely understandable. I feel like I'd be in a similar boat. Something about the way the light dances across the gold coins that is absolutely irresistible. You know what? I have actually kind of screwed myself here. Getting into a 1x1 where they can shoot the bolts through each other, so they're still getting all their cold damage laid down, and I'm not able to irradiate a couple of them at once. Definitely seems less than ideal, shall we say. But maybe a couple of ignitions will be enough to fix our problems in life. Until it gets sketchy again, so instead, potion petition, if you will. You could be so kind. Oh, me oh my. Even with the heal wounds thrown in there, we do at least have haste. Oh, we lost our statue form. That's a huge part of the problem. So let's do some quick maths. We're at 31 health. This is going to max out right now at 32.5. Is that right? No, that'd be 65. It's like 37.5. So, not great is the other way to frame that. There's some chance that you run away scared if I use a Fear Scroll, but not enough, and Tentacle Monstrosity is still here to absolutely ruin our day. So, this is probably one of those times to play it safe, as it were. Range of 5. Oh, that's actually not bad. So I think I will read one of our 3 scrolls of blinking that we've been managing to collect over the last little while here. In fact, I think I can cut this corner with haste and still make it. Fantastic. And now I'm very glad that we cleared this area out. Otherwise, we might have been in a bit of an interesting spot. What's my chances of failing statue form? Okay, 7%. That's not too unreasonable that we failed that, I guess.